Lessons My Childhood Taught Me Too Late, by Michael. If you had asked me as a kid what I wanted most, I'd probably say something like a new bike or more cartoons on TV. But now, all these years later, I realize what I really wanted was something I didn't even have words for back then: peace, safety, belonging. Looking back, my childhood had a way of whispering quiet lessons I didn't understand until much later. Life has a cruel sense of timing sometimes. It doesn't always hand you wisdom when you need it most. Instead, it waits until you're older, bruised by experience, and finally ready to listen. Here are a few of those lessons I wish I had understood sooner. 1. I love you doesn't always sound like that. When I was younger, I used to think love was supposed to sound like a fairy tale. Big declarations. Constant affection. Someone saying I love you often and clearly. But my childhood love didn't come wrapped in words. It came quietly, in my mom packing my school lunch even when she was exhausted, or my dad standing silently in the hallway during my school play because he showed up late and didn't want to interrupt. It took me years to realize that love isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's a quiet presence. A sacrifice. A moment that goes unnoticed until it's gone. I wish I had said thank you more often for the things I didn't realize were love at the time. 2. Your parents were just people doing their best as a kid. I expected my parents to have all the answers. I didn't realize they were learning on the job, improvising, doubting themselves, carrying their own wounds. I used to hold grudges for the things they got wrong. The rules that felt unfair. The silences that felt cold. The love that sometimes felt distant. Now, I see things differently. I understand how hard it is to show up every day when you're carrying invisible weight. I've seen how life wears people down. And I realize my parents weren't perfect, they were just trying to keep everything from falling apart. That realization didn't come until I stood in their shoes. And it softened something inside me. It replaced blame with grace. 3. Being a good kid doesn't guarantee a smooth life. I follow the rules. I tried to be kind. I avoided trouble and did what I was told. And deep down, I believed that doing everything right would protect me. It didn't. I still faced disappointment. Still lost people I loved. Still found myself in dark places I didn't know how to escape. The truth is, being good doesn't shield you from pain. Life doesn't reward you for coloring inside the lines. And sometimes, it's the quiet kids, the careful kids, who carry the deepest wounds, because they don't know how to ask for help when the weight becomes too much. Now I know that strength isn't about perfection. It's about vulnerability. And courage doesn't mean staying quiet, it means learning to speak up, even when your voice shakes. 4. You can miss a place that never really felt like home. I used to feel guilty for missing parts of my childhood that hurt me. Certain smells, songs, or streets would trigger this odd, aching nostalgia. Not for the good times, but for the familiar ones, even if they weren't kind. I didn't understand back then that you can feel attached to chaos simply because it's what you knew. That even pain, when it's familiar, can feel like comfort. It took me a long time to untangle love from loyalty. To realize I could grieve the childhood I didn't get while still holding gratitude for the parts I did. That kind of grief is quiet. But real. 5. Not everyone stays, and that's not your fault. When I was little, I thought people stayed forever. Friends. Family. Mentors. I thought if I was kind enough, helpful enough, good enough, people wouldn't leave. But they did. Some moved on. Some passed away. Some simply disappeared. And for a while, I thought it was something I did. It wasn't. Now I understand that some people are meant to be chapters, not the whole book. And their leaving says more about their path than your worth. That lesson was heavy. But it taught me how to let go with grace. How to appreciate people while they're here, without clinging when they're not. 6. You're allowed to outgrow people and places. As a kid, I thought loyalty meant never changing. Staying with the same group of friends. Loving the same things. Living in the same neighborhood. But growth is uncomfortable. And sometimes, it means walking away from things that no longer fit, even if they once felt like home. Outgrowing someone doesn't mean you don't care. It just means you're becoming who you're meant to be. I wish I had learned sooner that it's okay to evolve. To want more. To seek peace, even if it means walking alone for a while. 7. Healing isn't linear, and that's okay. There were things I buried deep in childhood because I didn't have the tools to face them. Feelings I couldn't name. Fears I couldn't explain. And for a while, I thought growing up meant getting over it. But healing isn't a straight line. It's messy, non-linear. It shows up on random Tuesday nights or in conversations you didn't expect to have. Sometimes, healing means crying over something that happened 15 years ago. Sometimes, it means finally forgiving yourself for surviving in the only way you knew how. I've learned not to rush it. To give that younger version of me time and space to speak. And to listen with love. Final thought: childhood is strange. It forms the blueprint for who we become, and yet so many of its lessons don't reach us until we're adults, looking backward with new eyes. I used to think growing up meant moving on. Now I know it means going back, gently, to all the moments that made you, and learning to carry them differently. My childhood taught me a lot. But it taught me quietly. Subtly. Often too late. Still, I'm listening now. And maybe that's enough. If this story resonates with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. This isn't just a channel. It's a safe space. A reminder that your story matters, even the messy, unfinished parts.